Ready Check Radio.
Stand by as we get ready to serve up all your news this week in the world of gaming. Welcome to Gaming Gumbo. Hello, Internet. It's Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That means here on Ready Check Radio, it's time for Gaming Gumbo, your weekly gaming wrap-up. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man, as always, and this is episode 143. If you're joining us live, twitch.tv, thank you so much. Chime in as we go along. If not, make sure you're checking out ReadyCheckRadio.com. Hit up the socials, YouTube, Audible, and wherever you're watching or listening. Give it a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, all that fun stuff that feeds the algorithm. We've got to talk about house fires and then new releases this week. Joining me to do all of that, resident artist of Ready Check Radio, Yod. What's up, sir?
Looking at this dumpster fire.
Yeah, it continues.
That we're going to talk about here.
It continues.
Yeah. Yep.
And you weren't even here for part one. You weren't even here.
I was not. I was looking at it. I think I was like, we talked about it prequel wise before we knew anything about what was actually going on. The wife and I took a look at the game, on Steam with the reviews and stuff, and we're, what the hell is going on here? But yeah, oh my god. This is
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. Joining us to also chime in, somebody who was here for our part one discussion a few shows ago, Mr. Troy Blackburn. What's up, Noob Fridge?
I have marked myself safe on Facebook from spending $2,700 on a 3D printer.
Shut up.
For now.
I cannot.
Shut up. I've already been looking at them. He said H2C. And
yeah, we had this whole discussion.
Getting...
Pre-show, by the way, if you join us on Twitch, we were talking about 3D printing, and I bought an H2C, and I was sharing a print that's going on for a couple of days right now. Now you're all caught up. Yeah, I spent $2,400 on a second 3D printer.
So Troy, where is your closest Micro Center?
I don't even know. Atlanta, I think.
That's quite.
There are two here. There are two here.
I will be in Atlanta this weekend. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So. Yeah, so Troy and I did talk about this like the week before I bought it on Discord, because we were both kind of like, that is a beast of a machine. That multicolor multi-material is another reason, right? Dual nozzle in general opens up multi-material, and then the H2C is a hot end changer, not a tool changer. Don't confuse the tool; it's a little different than a straight up tool changer. But it was kind of like. You could also just go ahead and buy 3 P2Ss for that amount of money. Like, if you're going to spend $2,400. So it was really like, what am I going to use this for? And my uses are like going to be prop replica build most of the time. Troy's doing something a little different, right? With running a little bit of a business with the stuff. And so having more printers is probably more beneficial to you than it is to me. So I don't know. But hey, now we can go into business together, and we can do multi-material and multicolor, and I can recoup some of this absurd cost. Because Takal in chat is saying that, way to go, Troy. Now the kids are on a ramen diet for the next month. I will say that like one of the only reasons that I can do stuff like that anymore is because all of my kids have now finished high school and are in college, and so the expenses have gone down here. So yeah, it's fun, but that's the end of the good news. Let's start getting into the bad. And we're going to pick up where we left off with Ashes of Creation, the MMO that just keeps giving. And if you haven't been following it, get your popcorn ready. Because last show we talked about how Intrepid Studios just collapsed. Stephen Sharif said board was making decisions couldn't agree with ethically, and so was out. A bunch of other executive leadership left. This was kind of the first time a lot of people heard that there was even a board, though, because Stephen Sharif had always said, a lot of his own money was tied up in this, and there was no board or this or that or the other thing. And then it was just everybody got laid off. There's lawsuits going on for the WARN Act for violations of the WARN Act for terminations. No pays went out, no final pays, no severances or anything like that. It was a straight mess, and nobody knew the future of Ashes of Creation itself, besides speculation that couldn't be confirmed at the time of somebody claiming they were on the inside and that they were going to take this east into China and have them continue to develop it, give it a subscription model, and try and keep it going. We still don't know the long-term long-term plan for Ashes of Creation as an MMO itself. That is still very, very much up in the air. Although there's already some private server emulation stuff going on. We're not going to get into any of that because that's all really just speculation right now on what's going to happen to the game proper. But what we do have to talk about is the house fire that has just continued to burn. Because investors that some may or may not have even known existed at certain points have started speaking up. There's obviously been multiple lawsuits filed against Steven, against Intrepid, against whomever that you could file against. We already mentioned the WARN Act violations. Those have resulted in some lawsuits. There's some banks coming after loans. There's investors going after Stephen Sharif directly. And one of them, Jason Karamanis, has actually kind of broken silence here. And for about the last 5 or 6 days, has been working with Nephis QS, also known as Caspar, on YouTube, on getting a lot of information out into the public domain. Now, there is some financial stuff that the public has had access to since our last show on this. But Jason has literally dumped a bunch of stuff on this creator. Apparently, Troy had kind of vetted what creator they were going to go to. Had talked to, had watched 15 to 20 different creators on this type of stuff and drama controversy and gaming controversy and things like that, and liked Kaspar's kind of more neutral approach. Just give me the facts, and we're going to deliver the facts for previous content that was drama-based. And so Jason went to Caspar. And initially, this was a little over a 1 hour, almost a 2 hour video of just Caspar reading texts and some basic information that Jason had sent over. Since then, there are 2 new videos up where Jason actually comes on to Kaspar's stream on a live phone call and literally answers chat's questions. And there are some serious allegations coming from Jason. And I should preface this just so we're on the safe side of everything right now. A lot of this stuff is really bad looking for Stephen Sharif, Stephen's husband, Intrepid Studios, as it was under Stephen Sharif, and others. They are, at this exact moment, still just allegations, right, by this particular investor and some others. I'm sure a lot of this will see days in court, and this story is going to be going for a while. But, Troy, did you have... I know I sent links that was 4 hours worth of content. Did you actually have a chance to watch or listen to any of it? Because it does make good podcast-type listening. You don't have to watch anything.
Yeah, I've heard bits and pieces of Nephis's what's going on. I watched some of the interview where Jason was on the phone with him the other day.
Yeah, second one went up it's 20 hours ago.
Yeah, it's been interesting to kind of keep up with what's going on. It's the story that's just going to keep giving, and it's going to continue giving for a while.
Oh my god!
Yeah, did you get a chance to listen to any of it?
I read the article. It was just too much video for me to go through. But the article itself, just oh my god, just.
There are obviously allegations of embezzlement. I mean, that's an easy one. Jason accuses...
Right.
Jason does not have kind things to say about Stephen, who he met through Stephen's mother many, many years ago, and they were friends. And then a lot of texts keep portraying Steven as coming back to the well with Jason to try and get more money out of him, either through various loans with, in some cases, absolutely absurd interest rates that Steven was willing to take on just to get some cash, or as it got rolled into like the 2020s here, just making payroll. And Jason, for his part, does acknowledge in these interviews that, hey, there's probably a little bit of greed on my part here. I keep throwing good money after bad money. But there's also, you have to understand that I thought Steven was in this up to his gills too, with, millions of his own dollars in this. And so we were both in the same pool trying to make this work. And yeah, at some point I probably just should have said, I'm tapped out, no more money. By the way, I need to see the books, which Jason also alleges Steven withheld and hid for long periods of time. He alleges that Steven lied about particular contracts just to get new investors in. And then Jason makes some really big accusations, Troy, one of which being that Steven Sharif didn't put money into this at all. And as best he can tell now that he has the QuickBooks, there may have been a very, very small contribution at the beginning of all of this, but the public perception Steven has been putting out there of I'm funding this to the tune of tens of millions of my own dollars, Jason alleges is absolutely false. And then Jason also alleges that the investors in January, when shit hit the fan, were still actually trying to save the company, and that it was Steven who caused intentionally basically the implosion of Intrepid. And I'll get to those particulars in a minute. I just want your take on things, Troy, because there's a lot.
It really doesn't look good, because not only have you got the whole there's not a board, all of a sudden there is a board, I'm funding this with tens of millions of my own dollars, to the accusations from the investors that he wasn't funding it with any of his own money besides maybe a small portion, a very small portion. But not only that, he was embezzling money from the company as an allegation that was made to purchase houses, to sell houses. Allegations were made that he would take out loans to purchase houses and sell houses and not pay any money back whatsoever, not only to buy the house that he's living in with his husband currently. But it's a lot of stuff flying around right now. Of course, we're going to wait and see, because absolutely this is going to court, without beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is going to have multiple court cases going on. But to hear the untruths, the allegations of the untruths that we were told from the very beginning of this thing is really disheartening.
Yeah, Yad, I'm going to read this portion from WCCF Tech's kind of summation of these videos for you and get your take on it. Jumping kind of to the current state. By 2025, right, Intrepid Studios was hemorrhaging cash at an alarming rate. The company's monthly operating expenses exceeded $2.5 million, while revenue from in-game purchases ranged from $150,000 to $200,000, resulting in a monthly loss of around $2.3 million. At this burn rate, even Dawson, who is another investor that is like almost 6 times or more invested than Jason is. Jason's invested to the tune of about $12.5 million. Massive capital infusions could not sustain the operation indefinitely. The situation became dire in late 2024. Multiple payrolls were missed around the Alpha 2 release, which, as those who followed the game already know, got delayed by several weeks. Moreover, Alpha 2 bonuses, which had been promised to employees 3 months in advance, were delayed indefinitely. The financial crisis affected more than just employees, though. In December 2025, cloud services provider SATA Systems filed a lawsuit with the New York Supreme Court seeking $852,000 and some change for nearly 3 years of unpaid Google Cloud Platform services dating back to September 2022. The services were canceled in April 2025 due to non-payment. When confronted about the lawsuit on Reddit in December of 2025, Sharif dismissed it as peanuts, claiming that 800K is a week's worth of OpEx for the studio, and suggesting that such disputes were fairly common and could be resolved in a similar manner to other disputes Intrepid had seen before. Yet, mere weeks later, the company was unable to process payroll and had to shut down entirely. The SATA case revealed that Intrepid had been technically insolvent for years, unable to pay even basic infrastructure bills for cloud services, yet still kept raising millions from new investors, including most of Dawson's $80 million between 2022 and 2025, according to Jason Karamanis' testimony. Under the light of this new information, the timing of the December 2025 Steam Early Access launch now appears even more strategic. The release technically satisfied the Kickstarter promises, something we speculated on in our previous show, Troy. As we had postulated in our previous report, blocked refund claims and generated an estimated $3 to $5 million in revenue based on 220 to 320K copies sold. It also provided the final pool of money that Sharif would seize through Commerce Bank just 2 months later, Yad.
So, oh my God, the main guy, the what was his name? Sharif?
Stephen Sharif, yeah.
Stephen Sharif. He, if I remember correctly from the article, he's like his past is like MLM pyramid scheme BS.
Yeah,
right?
so he read it. He on the interviews, he also like readily acknowledges, look, yeah, I made a ton of money in the past from multi-level marketing. I know, and by the way, something we mentioned last time, Troy, Stephen Sharif was also in his past involved in multi-level marketing and has taken his fair share of rights and lefts by the community for that. And Jason fully acknowledges, like, hey, there's going to be some of you out there that don't like the type of businesses I may have been involved with in the past and how I made some of my money, and like nothing I can say is going to change that. But that also doesn't impact the situation that I'm describing to you right now. Like, that's a totally separate thing. Like, he's very open with that type of stuff.
Which, from his standpoint, sure. The Sharif, though, everything that I've heard, he sounds like he was trying to pull the same thing MLMs do, but in the video game market. Because you operate at a loss, you're constantly not paying shit until you finally cart your whatever you're selling to your minions, and they all sell it, and then you get money. You get the money back.
Yeah.
But video game companies don't work that way.
Yep.
And especially live service game MMOs, you can't do that.
I mean, it's to the point. Jason says in his stuff that he tried to meet the teams. He's also said, hey, I'm not into video games myself. I really don't play MMOs. Like, I'm a Pac-Man guy, and that's really it. But I wanted to meet the teams, because I'm basically paying their payroll every time Steven reaches out to me and says, hey, we're not going to make payroll. Like, I'd like to meet the teams. And Steven, like, kept everything, according to Jason, kept everything kind of segregated. Like, the employees thought Stephen Sharif was one thing and this really great guy and funding this by himself, and that's all they knew about. And then these investors who are being hit up for money, according to Jason, over and over and over again, they're being segregated. Then there's the community being segregated in its own pool with its own presentation of how things actually are.
Right. Which a lot of ways is how MLMs work. And unfortunately, personally, I doing this show, we talk about a lot of companies and what's going on and who's buying who and all that stuff. Personally, I honestly feel like this is just a symptom of everything else that's been going on with companies buying up other video game companies, and the companies that are buying them up don't understand how video games work, and they get pissed off or get in deep trouble or start embezzling because they aren't making the money that they thought they would be making.
Yeah.
It's endemic of an issue that's been going on, and it needs to stop.
I mean, obviously, Ashes of Creation, Troy, in the past, during its Kickstarter and the years that followed, has had its fair share of its, this is a scam accusations, right? Most MMOs, particularly ones that involve crowdfunding, always kind of get accused of that at some point or another. But Ashes of Creation has been around long enough that it's received that criticism from various content creators multiple times throughout the years. Some calling it a flat-out scam, some calling it bits of scammy here and there. Now that Jason is providing information and QuickBooks and showing, again, from his documentation that Stephen Sharif and Stephen's husband were drawing $500,000 a year salaries from the company, that money was just funneled to other people without documentation of what they were for. Was it bonuses? Was it just the money just leaves Intrepid's account and goes somewhere? Jason also alleges that tax filings were fraudulent to a certain degree for some years. I mean, there is just the calls of, yeah, you do technically have a game that is playable to a certain extent right now, but now the calls of, hey, this was a scam, they're even louder now. Even though there's a playable game to a certain degree, right? It's not fully fleshed out or anything. But the calls of like, hey, this looks like just it was being used as a scam behind the scenes, just not a flat-out scam maybe, those have grown. And it also is interesting to me that Robert Dawson, who is somebody that has 60 to 80 million invested in this, is the primary kind of owner of the IP right now as far as who has shares in the company and the IP, and is kind of the decision maker right now. They didn't try to kill this. Like, we kind of put this greedy investor stuff on big companies. And yes, I don't want to sugarcoat this, Troy. These investors kept throwing bad or good money after bad money because they kept potentially trying to see the greedy dollar signs on the other side. There is absolutely a level of that. But that can be true with the outcome here being that they also didn't want to just shut this down even after all hell broke loose. Because what closed the company, according to Jason, was actually a decision Stephen made, not one that Stephen tried to say the board was doing unethical things. By the way, Troy, I should mention that Jason says, I didn't even know that there was a board because I would have been on it.
Right.
Yeah, the amount of money you sunk into it.
Yeah, if there's this anonymous board out there that exists to shut this company down, how does this board not include these major investors?
Yeah.
And how are they not aware that this board exists?
Yeah, so here's, according to Jason, what happened at the end. What led to this story being a story in late January into February. And again, according to WCCF Tech, their summation. By January 2026, Robert Dawson had reached his breaking point. Now remember, he's the biggest investor. Having invested $80 million with no return and facing continued operational losses, he initiated what Jason Karamenis describes as a reasonable restructuring plan. The proposal called for 60 to 70% staff layoffs to make the company financially sustainable. Now that sucks, but you now know the position they're in. Like that, the fact that it's not just, hey, let's close this and I'm done is remarkable to begin with. But layoffs suck. We get that. A new funding round was going to be open, requiring that all existing investors contribute 25% of their previous investment to maintain their equity. So they're going to use a capital injection from their existing investors so that their investors can keep their equity. Or if you don't give it to us, we're going to close down and you lose everything. So it does seem kind of weird, right? If you don't think through it a little bit, why would I want to put more money into this just to maintain what I have? Well, because the alternative, if you don't, is you've just lost your entire investment, right? So the proposal called for 60 to 70% staff layoffs to make the company financially sustainable, a new funding round requiring all existing investors to contribute 25% of their previous investment to maintain equity, and a new role for Sharif. So they still wanted to move forward with him, by the way, as creative director with earnout-based equity tied to the company's performance rather than immediate ownership. I can't, again, assuming most or all of whatever Jason says is true, I can't call that proposal unfair to anybody. Sharif, however, according to Jason, flat out refused. Karamanis revealed that he demanded immediate equity despite having contributed no capital on his own, and when those negotiations failed, Sharif allegedly took action that destroyed the entire company. How? Between approximately January 26th and the 31st, Sharif resigned as creative director and executed what Jason Karamanis called an act of sabotage. He had Commerce Bank, who they had a loan from, send a letter to Valve claiming that the Steam revenue from the December early access launch, which was approximately $3.7 million that had been earmarked by Dawson creating this new structure, it had been earmarked for February 1st payroll. This money, however, was instead used to pay off Commerce Bank's loan, which was currently being secured by Sharif's house, and that released $1.5 to $1.6 million that was in escrow to Stephen Sharif personally. The seizure of funds left the company unable to make that February 1st payroll and effectively bankrupted the company. Jason portrays Stephen's seizure of the Steam revenue as a deliberate act of sabotage, thus destroying the company rather than accepting the performance-based compensation proposed by main investor Robert Dawson. I know. Look, Troy's choking.
Yeah.
The well was running dry based on the allegations that are being made. The well was running dry for Sharif. It was obvious he was not going to be able to continue to, based on the allegations, continue to take what he's allegedly taken tens of millions of dollars out of the company for his own personal use. So he was going to get out while the getting was good and still get that escrow payment and get rid of the loan that was secured by his house. And also there's the allegation that he's put their home into just his husband's name, so that when all these companies come after him, it's allegedly going to protect this house.
Yeah, just FYI, in most jurisdictions, that doesn't work anymore. That used to be a thing long time ago. In most jurisdictions, that doesn't work anymore. It's really easy to see when things changed ownership. It's very easy to see that. Plus, I don't think his husband's going to...
the getting was good, man.
I don't think his husband's going to be immune from much of this either, because he was drawing a salary, and his title was apparently CFO.
What?
Yes!
I missed that part. No. They're both they're both going down for now.
Part of it too. Then that's why, even if moving the house over to the husband's name would have protected the house, how is it going to do so if your husband is also part of this?
Right. Especially a CFO of all things.
Yeah. Now, I am sure that this will naturally lead to lawsuits, outbound lawsuits from Stephen too, right? There are multiple banks involved. There are multiple investors involved. There are multiple employees filing Warren Act violation lawsuits. Those are all going to be against Stephen and his husband, against Intrepid Studios. Like they're going to go all over the place to whoever the appropriate parties are. But I am sure that there will probably be lawsuits coming the other way from Stephen. Maybe against Jason directly, maybe against some of the other investors directly. I mean, Jason, multiple times when he's just... That dude would probably be fun to have a beer with, but he seems a bit crazy too. Like, apparently he's in his 50s. He just doesn't really have a filter. Like, there are some words that he uses in his conversations that just generally aren't used anymore, right? To describe somebody that, might have a bit of a mental condition. You guys can guess what I'm talking about. Like, that's just his language pool, I guess. And he doesn't give a fuck what you think about it. And fine, more power to him on that. But he was asked multiple times by viewers, like, aren't you scared of, like, could be damaging your own case by talking about this as openly and publicly as you are on a YouTube content creator's stream? And he's like, What the fuck do I care? Stephen Sharif's an asshole. He's a narcissistic asshole. and he's like, and everything I'm saying is true. What's he going to do? Sue me for defamation or libel? I have the QuickBooks. What?
Yeah, I mean, if it's all true, it's all true. You can't really sue for defamation.
Well, you can.
There's nothing stopping you from suing. Right, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping him from suing, but the case won't get very far.
Yeah, and it's wild seeing that, like, there are still Stephen Sharif fans that are defending him in some of these conversations. But it's also interesting to see, conversely, that some of these Intrepid Studios employees that never got to meet any of these investors and were under the same set of circumstances a lot of the community was, where it was Stephen funding a great portion of this, not all of it. Like, they knew there were some other investors, but not to the degree of the $100+ million we're talking about now.
Right.
Jason in one of these interviews was like, look, if there's any employees that are here and watching this, Caspar, if they want to contact you and you want to give them my email address, go ahead. I'd be happy to speak with the employees because I tried to meet them for a long time. And just because I probably wouldn't play this game doesn't mean I didn't want it to come out and want it to do good things. There is still no determination on what's going to happen with the IP. There's also lawsuits now involving merchandise that bears the Ashes of Creation logos and art and things like that. So there's just lawsuits everywhere. This is going to be the story that keeps giving for months at this point. Months. And you know who loses? All of the fucking employees and anybody in the MMO community who was excited about this game or enjoying what they had played so far. They're the ones that lose.
Or had invested their own money into the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That is a damn shame.
Or those promo packs, whatever they called them.
Right.
That they released over the years.
Those
were hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. If you haven't and you want to, like I said, you don't have to watch the videos. It's just audio conversation and Caspar sitting at his desk holding a phone up to the microphone. Caspar, my man, I love you and I love your content. I don't think you're watching this, but I know the type of equipment you're using. It's high-end stuff. Use the Bluetooth input on your mixer and put your phone call through there.
Jason is that type of guy that we're saying he is.
Give that wrist a break.
It might be appropriate.
Yeah, give that wrist a break from holding up the phone, brother. Bluetooth it into a channel on your mixer. Anyway, go listen to them. Just put them on as background noise. You'll be stunned. Stunned. Jason can kind of get off topic too. So there's some great just stories about like this weed dispensary he's now owner of or part owner of in California. And people in chat were like, "Is it the one on this street?" And he's like, "Actually, yeah, it is the one on that street." So. Yeah, go check it out. We'll keep... I don't want to bring this back every single show because I'm sure this is going to be like bits of content every week, but we will follow up on this one as we go.
Yeah, that's going to have some staying power.
I'm waiting for Stephen Sharif's response, Troy. Like, what do you think his next move is? Like, is he even still in the United States? Like, do you think do you think he's in the country? Like, I honestly don't know. If you want to sue, you have to have grounds. And if, like, just a fraction of what Jason is saying, I don't know what grounds you have besides just, I'm going to make an inconvenient lawsuit. Like, what grounds or damages do you even allege? What is the play here if you're Steven?
I think just based on what I've seen from the outside looking in, based on allegations that are made, I think he files a bunch of defamation lawsuits. I think that's
what money?
Grasping at straws.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but
yeah. I mean, I get it, but I think that's where it goes because I think he has to. If he's the type of person that they're describing him as, he's going to want to make countersuits in order to maintain that illusion that I'm the victim here. I'm the one who's getting victimized, so I've got to sue them back. I can't just get sued in the court of public opinion. It'll look better if I'm suing them back. And what's the low-hanging fruit? It's the defamation lawsuits.
Right, but in a defamation lawsuit, right? So if you get sued, somebody's alleging defamation, and absolute truth is an absolute argument against a defamation, libel, slander lawsuit, right? It can't be any of those things if it's true. There are other qualifiers if you thought it was true, or if you were like, there's some sub-qualifiers in debatable truth cases, but absolute truth is a defense to those three things. And if you levy that lawsuit and you know X percentage of the things Jason is saying is true, then you either have to make your lawsuit so specific on the things that he said that weren't true and prove that those have hurt you more than the things that are true actually being true. Or, like, all you're going to have Jason or Dawson or any of these investors do is say, I'll see you at Discovery, baby. Like, now you're going to have a court of law. Like, if you know a large portion of these accusations are true, you can't dare walk into a courtroom alleging defamation just for fear of a courtroom validating the discovery process as truth.
It's not the actual lawsuit, though, with these type of people. It's the threat of the lawsuit. So he's going to threaten
a Jason doesn't care.
Suit.
Jason does not care.
No, I get that. I totally get that. Reading the article and stuff. I totally get the feeling. He has no shits to give.
Nope.
But for someone like Schreier or Brief, his personality dictates that he's going to try to threaten the lawsuit and the other person will back down. And then he'll have a win.
I think you are highly delusional if you think that, one, Jason's going to back down, or two, Dawson's going to. Dawson's got 60 to 80 million in this thing. You think he's going to be? Right. I'll see you in Discovery, buddy. Like,
right. Which is totally how it's going to work. But with the other guy, his whole thing is he's going to threaten it and hope that they don't actually take him up on it.
Yeah.
But of course, like you said, these guys don't give a shit.
Yep.
They've sunk so much money into it that they're going to take it out of your hide or, wherever else they can get it from.
Nobody's getting paid out of this
Discovery.
one. Nobody's getting paid out of this one. There's a lot of money gone, and like the only hope of recouping, you're not going to get it from Steven in court, Troy, right? Like, he just doesn't have it.
No.
Your only option is to try and turn Ashes of Creation into a viable product of some type and slowly recoup money. And while that may be the plan, they're not quite ready to talk about publicly, and probably because they don't actually know which route they want to go yet on what the future of the MMO will actually be. We'll keep an eye on it for you, though. We'll keep an eye on it for you. Let's talk about some good news, because last week was also the Sony State of Play, and I was talking to my son Torchwick while we were watching it on Discord, and it was kind of like, this was one of the better states of play that I've seen in quite some time. It was long too. It was like over an hour. Is the game still up today? Yeah, Ashes of Creation is still up today. I think Steam delisted it, so I don't know if you can jump in as a new player. But from what I know, I'm not a player. From what I know, if you have the game, you can still play it, I think, as of the recording of this video. Don't quote me, though. There are, like I said, emulator / private server stuff already being worked on by the community anyway, though.
Of course.
So I don't want to talk about everything that was in the Sony State of Play, because there was a lot. It was over an hour long.
Yeah.
We got a new trailer for Bond 007 First Light. We got For Loop. There was another Beast of Reincarnation trailer, like we talked about a few shows ago. So I brought a couple. We all kind of brought a couple, and then I'll hit some highlights for you. So the first one I want to talk about is on the screen right now, and that's Castlevania Belmont's Curse. Hell yeah! What are you talking about? I wanted this to be a ninja drop so badly. It
looks good.
It does. So yeah, Castlevania Belmont's Curse. There was a whole section, by the way, that it was like, is this the Konami State of Play? Because they just bang. They had some Metal Gear stuff. They had some Castlevania stuff. They just kept going. So yeah, it's supposed to launch this year on PlayStation 5. Cannot wait. Celebrating the 40th anniversary of Castlevania. Konami also said that there are other plans to celebrate the 40th anniversary as well. and I'm very excited.
That's good. That's very
I
good.
know, right? And then sticking with kind of like the retro-ish, I'll take those vibes here. Legacy of Kain Defiance is getting a remaster as well. This is awesome, fantastic. Loved the previous remaster that they did. So yeah, it's going to be great to see yet another one here. Now, this one also kind of broke my heart because I was hoping that they would announce a new game. And it was just a remaster. I'm fine with the remaster. That's fine. That's fine.
Maybe after the remasters.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's also featuring a demo of Dark Prophecy. And if you know anything about the Legacy of Kain series, that is just the biggest cock tease ever. Because Dark Prophecy was the canceled sequel to Legacy of Kain Defiance.
Right.
So there's a demo of it in here. But yeah, so this comes out actually March 3rd. So this one's only a couple weeks away, and it'll be on the PS3 and the PS4 and the PS5. And then I would be remiss. We don't have to belabor this point, and I didn't pull the trailer for it because we've talked about it before. We got some gameplay reveal trailer from Control Resonant. I don't know how I feel about it. It was very like Melee, almost Devil May Cry-ish type combat. Not so much the... excuse me for the sneeze. Not so much like the ranged shooting of the original Control. So I don't know. I was a little... but I'm still excited for Control
I enjoy a good
Resonant.
Devil May Cry type.
I do too. I just hope Control can pull it off. I love the IP. So what are some of the things, Yod, you wanted to mention?
So I had you pull the trailer for Kenna, Scars of Cosmora.
Yeah, the sequel.
Yes, I think I said that right. Yes, the sequel. The first game was a lot of fun, and I like that they're continuing on with the character, it seems.
I was kind of stunned. They opened the show with this, didn't they? Yeah, this was like the first thing I think they showed, and I was like, wow, I'm amazed this is getting a sequel. It was a good game, but I didn't think it did well enough, but apparently it did.
I still need to finish it, quite frankly. I'm sorry, I didn't finish it. But yeah, what I played of it was really fun, and the fact that they're going on with the character, and she's a more experienced spirit person and trying to cleanse other areas and stuff, looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It does. It does. I like the original, so I will play this.
Yeah. Oh yes. There's of course Silent Hill. Was it Townfall?
Yeah.
But we can get more into that in a little bit.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Because I mean, it takes you out of actual like the things that the previous games did, which you're always in Silent Hill, the town. It's always that same town, where some of the other games did as well. So I like that they're moving along, and it's like this ethereal thing that you don't have to be in the Silent Hill town. You can be in some other things. There's a different town, maybe. There was one that you were stuck in a room. No, I know that one didn't do very well.
Yeah,
I know that one didn't do very well.
It was called The Room. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that one didn't do very well with a lot of people, but I thought that was an interesting concept.
Yeah, this one takes place in a fictional town called Saint Amelia, and it's actually based on the Scottish city of Saint Munans in the East Nook of Fife.
Yes.
So yeah.
Which it also shifts to another country.
It's also first person too, which is different.
Which makes things always more creepier.
I mean, it worked for as I saw it, Troy, and I was like, no. But and then I was like, well, it did kind of work for Resident Evil, right? Like 7 and 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes it
first
creepy.
person.
And there was some more weird nurse monster things, but with a different head this time.
Yeah, I'm all for a new Silent Hill. That's fine. They also had their like radio transmission broadcast after that.
Right. Yeah, the little TV things I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Holding on
my
to.
dad had one of those, the Sony Watchman, when I was a kid.
Yes,
and I was telling Torchwick, I was like, what a cool little device it was. The screen was black and white, and it was like curved, the top curved away from you and down. It was a neat little device.
See, I had a knockoff. It was just a screen on a little radio-looking thing that I had.
Troy, what did you see that you kind of liked? I know you're not the console guy, but a lot of these aren't going to be on just PlayStation.
Yeah. The one that I'm most excited about by far is the John Wick game.
Oh, yeah.
Tons about it. They've showed up a little bit about it, but it's coming from Saber Interactive. It's coming to PC. I can't wait for that game. I hope it's as good as it is in my head. I'm trying not to overhype it in my head.
Yeah.
But I feel like the combat, if you're going to nail this game, the combat's got to be really fluid. The gunplay has to be really fluid. I mean, if you're going to do a John Wick game, you got to have some big balls and go out there and make it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, that looked cool to me too.
We had Star Wars Galactic Racer show off a little more. We had Resident Evil show off a little more, coming out later this month. Resident Evil Requiem. Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition was announced, and I said, fuck Ubisoft. Project Windlist looked weird as shit. It looked like a Dynasty Warriors, and I get it. It's like very Eastern mythos where, you know, gods are, in some cases, you know, of the gods of like fables and stuff are big chickens or big...
Right.
It just looks weird, though, from a Western perspective.
Yeah.
Seeing a big... you know, Giga Chad chicken beating up on highly realistic looking humans. It looked weird, but whatever.
yeah, that was the thing. He doesn't look like a dude in a chicken outfit. He is a giant Giga Chad chicken. Yep. And everything is so dark and serious and realistic, and there's a giant Giga Chad chicken.
It looks weird. Mina the Hollower is an upcoming game from Shovel Knight Studio Yacht Games. Metal Gear Solid 2 Master Collection contains Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. This comes out in August, which finally unlocks Metal Gear Solid 4 to other platforms besides its original one, the PS3. Finally, that game becomes unlocked from PlayStation 3. Troy, I want to get your take on this because you and I have talked a lot of Destiny and stuff throughout the years that are Bungie. And of course, Yad will get your take being a recovering Destiny player. What did you think about Marathon?
I don't really think about Marathon at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah. There's a server slam coming up on February 26th if you want to help them test. I don't know. I don't know. And then they showed the God of War trilogy remake. There was also a little side game that launched that looks whatever. If you like it, great. I'm not going to yuck your yum, but it was not God of War to me. But the God of War trilogy remake, and I'm going to ask the pressing questions here, Yad. In the remake, will we have the sex mini games?
I don't know about that.
I got to ask the important questions here on this show.
Right, yeah. That would be, they might cut those out for, content rating.
Darwin's Paradox was like an octopus game. Dead or Alive 6 was there. Death Stranding 2 had some stuff going on. Crimson Moon. There were a couple smaller RPG, Brigadine Abyss titles. It was just a good show. If you didn't watch it, like if there was like 3 or 4 games that I just mentioned that you're like, oh, hey, cool. Yeah, go check out the show. It was like an hour long, a little over an hour. And had some good stuff. I was a fan.
It was well done and well put together.
Yeah. Speaking of put together well, but in this case, the exact opposite. Starting off our miscellaneous news before we call it a day. Highguard not doing well.
Oh my God, that article.
Yeah, a lot of the team was laid off, probably predictably. I don't know what's going on, but right now, playhighguard.com has been down for about 20 hours. Ish, maybe a little longer. It was just when I checked it last, and I'm checking it right now just to make sure it was still the case. The playhighguard.com is unavailable, site unavailable. Please contact support at code32.com for assistance. I don't think I will.
Did they lay off the wrong person?
I don't know. So after the layoffs, though,
off switch.
after the layoffs, somebody from the team got a little mad on social media. One of the laid off,
understandable.
One of the laid off developers, Josh Sobel, went off on what it felt like to have the game revealed at the Game Awards, and then watching like the loud community dunk on the game. And one of the things he called out was people gleefully trying to manifest the online hero's immediate downfall, which of course immediately sparked a backlash of that same exact audience against themselves. He said, "I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture and that the game would have thrived without the negative Discord, but it absolutely played a role. All products are at the whims of the consumers, and the consumers put absurd amounts of efforts into slandering Highguard, and it worked." Now, he has since deleted his X account entirely. So that's where that's at right now. But that was the original message. Now, here's my thing, Troy. Both of those things can be true, right? Like, there can be a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. But to trying to put this on just like people willfully trying to make sure the game failed, you got more eyes on your game on day one because of that negative press, let's call it. And I know it wasn't press that was necessarily doing it. Negative community sentiment drew more eyes to your game on launch day than almost any other game we'll ever see. Like, you're talking about the number of eyes that top tier AAA releases get on launch day. Your game failed to keep them, or even keep a substantial percentage of them. Like,
or any of them.
Sure. If you get 100,000 people in it and 30,000 people are just there to dunk on you and put up a negative Steam review, sure. Let's even take it to 50% of them. That's still 50,000 people you got in your game to try and show them compelling gameplay and get them to stick around. And they just didn't. So both things can be true. The negative perception probably didn't help you. Okay, fair enough. And I get why you're frustrated. You worked hard on something, you think it's a certain quality, and now you're laid off. Like, your entire situation sucks. I don't fault you for these thoughts. But to also not say, maybe we were, a little tone deaf in putting out this type of product at this time that people are kind of sick of and didn't really offer anything in a really unique, compelling way to get them to stick. Like, both of those things can be true, right? I'm not crazy.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. And you look at the top two right now, you look at the Marvel Rivals and the Overwatch, and they're both trying to bring back players as well. They're both struggling a little bit as well compared to numbers that they've done in the past. I'm not saying they're struggling, they're going to close down, but compared to what they've done in the past, they're not anywhere near the numbers that they've had. So you've got two of the big ones out there that are already, I keep saying struggling, but they're not struggling, but they're trying to regain some of the ground that they've lost. And now you're launching into that market with a game that was based on, just from what I've seen, I have not played the game. I have no desire to play the game. Mediocre at best. And if you're producing a mediocre game at best, the cream always rises to the top, regardless of what the vocal internet has to say, the negative Nancy's have to say. If you had produced a good game, that would have stood out with the test of time.
Yeah, and again, I'm not throwing away the fact, Yod, that there was a substantial percentage of players that were just there to dunk on you. It was a free-to-play game on Steam. It didn't cost them anything to put it in their library so that they could then dunk on you with a review. And you weren't going to get those types of players to stick around unless it was just like something earth-shattering, right? It doesn't matter how good your game was, that percentage of your players wasn't going to stick around. I fully acknowledge that. But your general, casual, free-to-play gamer that's just like, I don't know what this is, let me give it a whirl. Or I heard somebody bad-mouthing this, let me go see if it's as bad. Like, you had a chance to maintain those types of players with some compelling or decent gameplay that they liked, and even those players don't seem to have stuck around.
Right, and like you said, there's always going to be people to dunk on you, but and like Troy, I haven't played the game. Visually speaking, as an artist, it looks like a clusterfuck because it looks like they took every single genre under the sun and put it in a blender. Find your niche, go for that. Shotgun effect doesn't always work, but as far as the reviews go, it does seem like there were problems. There was a major problem of the game not knowing what it actually wanted to be. So you got to fix these things, and if you don't fix those things, you're not going to make it. And like Troy said, the top two big boys in the game are still trying to get their stuff up or back up. So
I didn't put this as a main topic because I didn't want it to dominate everything, but will you guys be giving Discord your face scan or your ID anytime soon with their new policy going into effect next month-ish?
No.
Oh my God.
If you don't know, their Discord is now rolling out between now and the end of March in almost all countries, your ID or face scan. Now, you don't have to do it, but all accounts will become designated as teens unless you do it. Generally, most users probably won't notice, right? Like somebody like me that is just using Discord for like 8 or 10 different servers, like 4 or 5 of which are the ones I run for various things. Like I'm not somebody that joins every game's server or anything. Like there's nothing not safe for work going on in any of the servers I join or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So you probably aren't going to notice that your account has been shifted to teen status. But if you do work in an industry or are on Discords where they are labeled for adults or have certain video content or video chat capabilities, Discord is going to require you to show them ID or a face scan and promises that it's through a third-party vendor and it will totally be deleted as soon as you are validated. And by the way, Discord, when they rolled this out overseas, did have their vendor have a security breach where these IDs were compromised. I'm just saying, it's already happened. And by the way, by the way, Kotaku is now also reporting, and some other outlets, that, hey, Discord is trying to distance itself from their age verification firm because that firm has ties to Peter Thiel over at Palantir. So,
yes.
Yeah, which has its own set of running the world through satellite and surveillance.
And probably security breaches on top of it.
I mean, literally, Troy, I said this when we were talking about it in Discord, right? And maybe you're the same ilk. It was like, okay, if it impacts I'm not going to do it. And if it impacts my Discord experience, I'll use something else. And I think a lot of people are going to take that same tact. Fine, leave me set to a teen. And if it impacts my experience, then I just won't use your service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also already have been a lot of deactivation of Nitro accounts and all that stuff, and of course, people go into other platforms and stuff preemptively, creating lifeboat accounts in case things go horribly awry on Discord when it actually comes about. Some of which looks somewhat promising. Others, like good old TeamSpeak or Ventrilo, haven't quite kept up with proper modern times.
look for the Slack comeback, baby. Slack is back.
Yeah,
oh my God, Slack. Oh.
Discord's post from February 10th on this that says, hey, we know people have more questions. Here's FAQ. Their Twitter post got community noted. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it says, while initially Discord may have never sent your data to their vendor after failure of the system being shown, e.g. the face scan bypasses. They are swapping vendors to Persona, who does in fact receive and retain your data. Persona is also funded by Peter Thiel. Discord lied. That's the community note. That's the community note on the most recent tweet on Discord's Twitter.
Yep.
And I also, I think it was you, Yod, that I was talking to, or you, we were talking in the group chat, but I had pointed something out, and you responded to me. It said, where is it?
Somewhere up there.
Yeah, so Discord, this is from their post. What we want you to know, Discord is not requiring everyone to complete a face scan or upload an ID to use Discord. The vast majority of people continue using Discord exactly as they do today without ever being asked to confirm their age. This is all about those age-restricted experience, such as age-restricted servers and channels, or to modify certain safety settings. For the majority of our users, we will be able to determine your age group using information we already have. We use age prediction to determine with high confidence when a user is an adult. This allows many adults to access age-appropriate features without completing an explicit age check. AKA, we have AI scanning what you're doing on Discord to make a determination about you as a person, whether that's your age or other characteristics, Troy. Like, that's the only way you can read that, right?
Yeah. Which I talked to my wife about that, and she's like, "Oh, so as long as you use capital letters and periods, you're fine."
Yeah, I won't.
Minimal emojis.
Yeah. Hey, a little bit of sad news this past week. Speaking of Castlevania earlier, Castlevania and Bloodstained veteran Shutaro Ida has died at 52, involved in both Castlevania back with his Konami days and then Bloodstained. Unfortunately, you just battled pancreatic cancer for a while now and passed away. And what is absolutely heartbreaking is his final message posted to X 11 days before he died. He wrote, "It seems that the limit is near. I can feel myself growing weaker day by day. Please love Bloodstained 2, which will be released in the future, and the games that I made." That is heartbreaking, Troy. That's heartbreaking.
Yes.
That's a man who genuinely cares about the legacy he's left behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Hideki Sato, designer of all the Sega game consoles, including the Dreamcast, has also passed away at age 77. Also very sad. So I'll leave you with a good note before we go do Games of the Week. If you are interested at all in Crimson Desert, Pearl Abyss came out and they confirmed this upcoming game does not have a cash shop or microtransactions of any kind. The quote from them is, "I can say that definitively. There is no cosmetic cash shop." Will Power's director of marketing at Pearl Abyss told Weekly Talk Show Dropped Frames, "This is made to be a premium experience that you buy and you enjoy the world and not something for microtransactions. It's a monetization model. If you do free to play, then you need to make up the revenue in a different way. This is a premium experience. This is the transaction, full stop." You love to see it.
That's nice. That is nice.
We live in a day and age where that's becoming more rare.
I know, right?
I know.
Let's go do Games of the Week. Episode of Gaming Gumbo. It's where all three of us are going to recommend a game to you. Could be a board game, video game, card game, mobile game, something we're playing now, played in the past, or haven't played but think you should check out. And while you're typing away with your comments on today's topics, you recommend a game to us and let us know who gave the best recommendation. Yod, you're up first.
I've been playing Lego games a lot because they keep being on sale on Steam. They're a lot of fun. Whatever genre you want, you should go check one out.
I'm going to go ahead.
Got all the genres.
DJ Havoc in chat recommends Ashes of Creation. That's my brother. I'm going to go ahead and recommend Mario Tennis Fever. My birthday was last week. It came out on my birthday, like we talked about on the show. My wife got me Mario Kart World and then realized that I already got it as a part of the bundle with the Switch 2 that I got. So we immediately went back to Target and exchanged that, and I played Mario Tennis Fever for like 6 hours that night. So absolutely full recommend. Troy.
I'm going back to tabletop games this week. If you enjoyed Gwent and The Witcher 3, did you know there's a physical version of that available? You can check it out. I have played it. This is unopened. There are a few differences between the physical version and the digital version, but overall it's still Gwent, and you can play that with a friend on your tabletop in person, face to face, which is the point of tabletop gaming.
The way God intended.
That's right. So you can always check out Gwent from what's the publisher's name? No Loading.
Enjoy. That's going to do it for us here today. We'll be back next week with another episode of Gaming Gumbo, as well as the Relic Grind this coming Thursday night. Until then, Troy, where can everybody find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at NoobFridge.
Yod.
Yod Artworks on the socials, except for Twitter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there at MagicMan1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, and you'll know every time we're going live with a podcast, some streaming, some 3D printing, and Final Fantasy card games, all the stuff. Stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.